This is a story of Bear who volunteered, because we don't forcefully make anyone go through an experiment, to go on a bungee jump made of rubber bands. Okay, so this was how I set my bungee jump. I taped a tape measure to the ceiling, and on a 90-degree angle, I taped the rubber bands. This was a setup I used for my entire experiment. Here's me taking pictures and doing the initial test to figure out the K constant and figure out the length of the rubber bands in order for Bear to have the most amount of fun without, And here are the measurements I made. For the last picture, we had to neglect one rubber band since that's what will tie onto the bear. So here's a picture that represents the test we ran to find what the length of our rubber bands should be. So the length of the rubber bands without any mass attached, we saw earlier, was 20 inches. And the length of the rubber bands with the bear attached was 25.5 inches, hence the 5.5 inches as the stretch distance here. And here's the free body diagram of the bear. So if we sum our forces in the y direction, we get that. And we can change this equation to find the K constant, which ended up to become 35.64 meters divided by L. So we define L as a true unstretched length of the cord, and I define capital X to be the true stretch length of the cord. And you see in the picture that height is equal to L plus X, which is 101 inches, as we saw in an earlier picture, which ended up being 2.57 meters. We can switch this up to say X is equal to 2.57 minus L. So I then applied the master equation here, and we don't have any non-conservative forces as we're neglecting resistive force, and there's no change in kinetic energy either, since we start and end at rest. As for the change in potential energy, I calculated it all out, and I got 1.24 meters for L, which is also 48 inches. I know this was pretty fast, so I'll link my work down in the description if you want to check it out. Now here's me building the final setup. I do this teleporting thing here, and now I'm back. Alright, so I finished the string of rubber bands to be a little shorter than 48 inches since we don't want the bear getting hurt. Now this is the final test. Now without the ruler and in slow-mo. Bear probably had a lot of fun. Probably. Anyway, in conclusion, this is the story of how Bear's foot got numb because I tied the rubber band on too tight.